In this video we're going to have a play with the bonnet catch. Alright, so this is what I want to fit the actual hardware that goes onto the bonnet slam. We'll have a look at the other bits that go into the actual bonnet lid shortly, but have a look at these bits. So this is what I have. So you got that piece. I can't. Let me just move around a bit, just because the light is in the opposite direction. But there we go. So these ones I've painted up to match the same colour of the car, and the way you need to fix it in, bolts go in from the top. Now the reason why I'm doing this little video is because there's just nothing on the internet, not even searching, you can find any information that explains how it goes. So that piece sits on that way, these curved bits face this direction, the bolts go in there first, then the bolts will actually screw into this bit. It's fixed with the nuts on there, but that piece goes underneath here, and then these spacer washers, they will sort of fit, I'll try and do this with just one hand, they will sort of fit there, and then the bolts from the top will screw into that. So I'll set up the camera on the tripod and do that bit for you to watch. Alright, the tripod I've got this camera set up on is not that fantastic. Just try and get the light at a better angle. Okay, so the way this works, and I had a few difficulties. It actually took me a while to figure out how to do this. So if you notice up on the bonnet slam, and I'll just lift you up for a second. Actually, I will, because you can't see that in the screen. You'll notice this little indentation here. So that little indentation will be where one end of the spring hooks into. So if I just show you that now without attaching anything, so there's the spring. If I just go underneath, I can easily just hook one end of, there it is there. So the one end of the spring goes into that hole. So that's where that end goes. Now the other end of the spring, it took me a while thinking, oh, maybe I've bought the wrong pieces. And the hole we need is not this hole here. So you might see that bit there, does not go like that. Took me an hour to realise that. The place where the actual hole is actually over here. It took me an hour to find that little hole on there. So that's where the spring needs to go in from this side. So that goes there like that. And then the other end, of course, will hook into that hole. So let's have a play now. I don't know, should it go, possibly it may need to go that way. Haven't got that far yet. Yeah, I think if it goes that way, it's going to be too loose. So it's got to go that way. And yeah, so we'll give that a shot and see how it goes. So this little hole here and this hole here, which is sort of more of a slot, that is where these little pieces of rubber need to go. Okay, so that's where they go, not in that hole there. Got a feeling that maybe for the horn, for some reason people put the horn here, but that's something I still need to check out. Even though that's a square hole, that's meant to fit in there. That one seems like it would go in quite easily. Don't put the rubber into that hole. So I'm going to try and fit those now. Now these ones are a lot softer. I reckon that will go straight in. I don't know why. Maybe just use the screwdriver for that bit. Okay, that one went in nicely. I'll just switch these over and just show you the difference between them. Okay, so these are the ones that didn't. That one was a bit hard to get in. These ones are a bit flatter. You'll notice the height difference there. And the rubber on this one seems a lot softer. So I don't know which one was which one came from where. I think these ones came in the kit where it had all of the bits of rubber for the whole car, like the door seals and everything else. And it seems like it gets a much softer rubber, and it just put that one back on this side and that goes in nicely. So I'll leave those ones in. And that's that bit done for now then. Still going to figure out where the horn's meant to go. Alrighty guys, so I've got the bonnet in. I've got the bonnet inside, and I'm going to start fitting the hardware to it. So the first bit is this catch pin here. That's just like a safety pin, safety little latch that sits there. So when you pop the bonnet open, you still need to put your hand in here and push that forward to actually allow the bonnet to lift up. Okay, so that has a spring on there. So I'm going to show you how to get that spring in first, if I can remember. So let's see. That end piece there on the spring has to sit in that way, but before we put that in, there's this little tube piece. So the tube, make sure this is focused, otherwise I'll be wasting my time. Focus on my hand, there we go. So put the tube in first. That just sits in there like that. Now that end piece slides into that little hole down there, and just position it so it's like that. Then the next thing we need to do, that's ready to just sit on here, so let me zoom in on that bit and then adjust the camera, manual focus. Okay, there we go. So now so those little bits that stick out, they sort of sit in that gap there, then the whole thing just slides into position. And then you have this pin here. That will just go straight through this hole here. And I haven't tried to get it in here since it's been painted, so that might be a bit stiff. So I don't want to damage things. Okay, there we go. Finally got it through. So that's how that works. Next thing you need to do is put in a... let me just check if that's even in the shot of the camera still. Oh, okay, yeah, kind of is. So the next thing we need to put in is a split pin. I've got these larger ones, I just need a smaller one. Actually, there was one, the old one. I'm just going to reuse that. So a tiny split pin, because I don't think I've got any replacements that are that small. I'll just turn that so I can angle it in there. Split pin goes in. We'll just separate the ends of it. Use some pliers to just bend one end across. Make it stay, the other one can stay straight. So that's that bit done. Alright, so the next thing I need to do is sort out this bonnet support. Okay, so the piece of rubber, I'll just get that away. Okay, so that piece needs to go in this way, just so you'll better see where the pin goes on this side. So I'll just slide that in. Don't know how well it's going to fit in there. There we go. That wasn't too hard to get in. Need to manoeuvre it a bit, just so there's enough room to get the pin through that. And then the next part, I'll just zoom out so we can see. Okay, so up this end is where the main rod, just stretch and reach that. So that end is what fits into where the engine bay is. So I'm just trying to get in my head the right way round. So it has to go that way. So that's kind of how it would be stored into position. So then that drops down that way. I'm not 100% sure about what I'm meant to use up here to fix that into there. I'm thinking something like a circlip or something similar, just to prevent that from sliding out like that. That for now. The other thing I want to show you was, this bit's pretty straightforward. The only thing I'm waiting on, I've already ordered, is just another one of these bits, because that is a bit old and worn out, and it sort of sits in there like that. But the issue with this one, this hole here is too big, and it's just sliding straight off the end of that pin. So it's pretty much, if that piece was okay, it would stop there and not go any more. The pin obviously needs to be wound down a bit. So that can wind down a little bit more. For some reason it's not going, oh there we go. But that'll get adjusted once I get that piece. And then that, pretty much straightforward, just bolts onto that part there. So I'll tilt the bonnet up a bit, so that just bolts into there. It can only go one way, so it goes that way. So that's pretty much it. I'm storing the bonnet inside for now, so I won't screw this on until I've got the replacement of that. So I'm just keeping the bonnet inside my lounge room, just so it doesn't get damaged by anything. It's a bit dusty in the garage. Okay, alright, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching my videos.